Hey folks, it's your main man E, and I'm here with none other than the beautiful Emmy. Emmy's a great dog, but like many dogs, she struggles with reactivity. She gets too excited sometimes when she's outside. She sees people, she sees dogs, she starts barking. It can be scary. So one thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'll take her out for a little walk and see how she's doing after a week staying with me. Keep in mind, this dog was extremely reactive before. I don't have video evidence of it because I don't believe in putting dogs in situations to videotape them in order to provide evidence. I really try to minimize the amount of times a dog is going to display that behavior around me. And in the case of Emmy, the few times she did it, we didn't have a camera up and we weren't going to make her do it again just to get a video. So it's so important, folks, the doorways. If there was one thing I could suggest for every owner, it is work on doorways with your dog. Get them to the point where you open a door, wait, and they wait. Okay? Not only is this going to make your life so much easier because you can get your groceries, you can get your phone, you have time to put the leash on the dog without them trying to get out of the door, but also it's going to completely change the way the dog physiologically feels when they come into a new environment. And it's also going to keep the dog safe. So when I have the dog waiting, and being calm here, and the dog comes out, they're starting off, whatever's about to happen, they're starting off with calmness. And they're coming into this new place with calmness. If they're really excited in there, and then they come flying out of the crate, they're going to be out here in the real world excited. Okay, so it's almost like, you start slowing down on a hill at the top of the hill. You don't wait till the very bottom of the hill and then slam on the brakes. So, you start pumping the brakes at the top of the hill so that when you're at the bottom of the hill, you're not going too fast. And that's the thing. When I know a dog tends to get too excited, I kind of pump the brakes here a little bit before we even go out, have the dog wait, and then I bring the dog out. Next thing that's so important to think about, guys, with doorways is the safety factor. Let's go. So like right here, guys, you can see there's a road right there. And, coincidentally, there's oftentimes cars nearby where you park your car. Who would have thought? So it's so important, especially around the car, that your dog is being calm when exiting the vehicle. And once they exit, I'm going to hold the leash here. Sit. And once they exit, they calm down and they just sit here patiently and they wait. Okay, we don't want to go from being in the car to like racing around outside immediately, or let them go flying out of the car door and then just whipping down the beach. Okay, you want the dog coming out of the car door and then being calm in this area about 6 to 10 feet away from the car. Right, I really do want my dogs to understand that the area around the car is potentially a very dangerous area. And so I want you to be calm around the car. I want you to be paying attention to me around the car. It's like the area around the pool. We just can't run around the pool. The ground could slip. You could fall and hit your head. And so it's the same thing. Like the area around the car, we got to stay calm. And you got to pay attention to me. Good girl. This can be done in a variety of ways. One thing I like to do is just go to different places, practice having the dog get out of the car for a few minutes, hang out with them, get back in the car, go somewhere else. If you want to use food, that's a great way to use food to increase the likelihood that your dog's going to want to do that and stay with you. In this case, we have a prong collar on her, but we're also using food. Good girl. I want her to really enjoy staying with me. I want it to be a choice. I want the dog to go, I'm just going to choose to be calm and hang out close by the vehicle when we get out of it. Good girl. So we're going to start walking in just a moment here. You can see in the distance there's a number of dogs down there at the beach, off leash and on leash. So we'll start walking with her. Let's go, and let's see how she does with her walk. So at this point in her training, I don't mind if the leash is loose when I say let's go. When I say let's go, that's an invitation to do what I call like the social walk. That means you're walking on the leash, you're not tightening the leash, you're not pulling, you're not putting on the brakes, and you're not, wrapping the leash around me in circles. Okay, so she's got this leash on, and if she gets to the end, I just say nope, and I tighten the leash. Nope. I don't need her on a short leash, folks. So many of these reactive dogs, they end up that way because we're walking with them on a very short, tight leash, where even if the leash is long, the leash is tight. They begin to associate that tight leash with the reactivity. By simply having a loose leash, oftentimes reactivity can be avoided. And you'll be surprised how many dogs will be so reactive that you simply walk them in a way where the leash isn't tight, they don't react anymore. Now you can see I'm letting this dog smell. That's an important thing to think about when it comes to rehabilitation of a reactive dog. In some cases, there might be a time and place to explain to the dog, hey man, stop walking, stop reacting, and just walk next to me in a perfect heel. But with other dogs like Emmy, you know, who are a little more sensitive and maybe not as prone to obedience, like say a German Shepherd, that could create stress. You know, Emmy could be like, hey, I used to react to dogs, and now you want me to walk right next to you and not pull on the leash. That's really hard. That's stressing me out right now. I don't know how to do that. And because I'm stressed, I'm more likely to still react to dogs because I'm feeling stressed. Versus if I bring her out here and I let her smell, then she has an alternate behavior that's fulfilling to her, and she might decide, you know, I'm not going to react. I'm just going to smell stuff. So it's really important that you allow the dog to smell and you allow them to investigate their environment, because in addition to her finding value in ignoring dogs, it's also going to help her cultivate a more curious attitude when she's out in the world. So rather than staring around with anxiety, you know, and anticipation, she's going to be more curious, and she's kind of smelling and investigating, and she's kind of seeing, hey, what was here before? What was here yesterday? What was here last week? And so that curiosity that comes with smelling is very healthy when it comes to rehabilitating a dog. It creates these endorphins and chemicals in the brain, just like with us. You know, when we're curious about something, we're less likely to be reactive to it or get angry or upset, you know, and so that's one thing to think about, is just letting her smell. So I'm going to say let's go at this point. She smelled quite a bit, and I'm going to work on having her walk next to me. So I give a few little tugs on the leash here, and the tugs are directional. Good girl. No. Good girl. The tugs are directional, so I'm tugging in the direction I want her to go. So if she starts going in front of me, I would tug backwards like this. That's actually more of a pop. So you have a tug, which is just like this. Or you might have a little pop. That's a little more quick of a pop. Okay, pop. I don't care that she's in a little bit in front of me. That's not really a big concern to me right now. What's more of a concern is just, is she being responsive to the leash? Hey, and my voice. Hey, Emmy, no. Okay, when she's not being responsive to my voice anymore, that's when I know, hey, she's not listening to me at all. And I either want to stop walking her, I'm going to stop. Like, I'm not going to keep walking. It's almost like I'm kind of telling the dog, hey, look, it's not possible for you to walk around with me and also be ignoring me at the same time. It's just not possible. So if you are ignoring me, the walk is going to stop. Hey, no. And I may try to correct her so we can actually continue walking. I know she wants to keep walking. Let's go. So we may correct her on her prong collar. No. And you can see she kind of just tunes it out. That's not good. We don't want the dog tuning out the prong collar. That was so cute. So she's telling me already, hey, I can walk well on a loose leash walk. That's not an issue. But the tight leash, that's what's going to create stress. That's what's going to cause me to react. I don't know how to walk on a tight leash yet. I don't know how to walk right next to you yet. You're asking too much of me, okay? So if I'm going to be walking her, it's going to be on a longer leash like this. Emmy, come. Yes. And I'm going to be briefly checking in with her. Break. From time to time. I'm going to tug on that leash. She's going to come over and get some food. It may take a lot of work in a parking lot or a very calm environment before Emmy's ready to walk next to us in a perfect heel for 30 minutes or an hour. Folks, oftentimes people are asking their dogs to walk next to them, but we ourselves haven't mastered the walk yet. We don't know how to hold the leash, how to handle the leash, how to hold the food and present the food. You could see here, when I hold the food and present the food right, I can get her to walk next to me. But that's from years of experience of knowing, hey, how close do I hold the food to her face? Good. What kind of food did I have? Leave it. Good. It's an interesting individual there. She kind of gave a little, so right there, she kind of gave a little suspicious glance at that man, which is fine. That's not a problem. But you notice the leash stayed loose. I kept giving her food. Good girl. Good girl. Stay close. Good. So we call this stay close, or we call this heel. No. Heel. Good. Okay, we say heel, we say good, we give her food. No. Good. So it takes time, guys, to assess how much food do I need to keep the dog walking next to me? How much do I need to use my leash? Is this a case where I can pop the leash and the dog has got enough rewards for walking next to me that they're gonna go, oh, sorry about that, let me walk next to you? Or is it the case, like I just haven't given enough rewards for the dog being next to me? The dog is just like, why would I walk next to you? Nothing good has ever happened. As opposed to, well, of course I walk next to you. I walk next to you, and then I get all this food. Good girl. Good, Emmy. So someone's walking behind us. Emmy saw that. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Yes. Good. Good girl. Break. Good girl, Em. Nice. Good girl. Nice, Emmy. Good girl. Good heel. 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 Good. But think about it too, folks. It's not even really realistic for a lot of dogs to walk in a perfect heel. To maintain this level of focus, it may not even be, not only not possible, it just may not be enjoyable for the dog. And so I would say most of your walking is going to be the social walk, which I showed in the beginning of this video. The dog's walking, not pulling on the leash. You know, you're checking in with them, you're making sure they're responsive to the leash, but they're not, you know, they're not expected to walk right next to you. Good. And then for periods of time on the walk, when you're passing things, when you're crossing the street, maybe just, you know, there's a more narrow sidewalk, or for example, you have your hands full. You know, in that time, you do tell the dog, hey, stay close. Good. 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 Now, if you use training tools like the prong collar, the remote collar, and food, or a toy, you know, you might get that dog to the point where eventually they just enjoy walking perfectly next to you. I know my own dog, with all the training we've done, she really enjoys that. But I know for her, she's a Rottweiler, and she's pretty prone to doing obedience. And she is a dog that just really wants to please me. Good. I could see Emmy getting there. Good. Because she does have a lot of focus and she does like doing her training. Good. Good, Emmy. Good girl, stay close. Good girl. You'll notice my hand is in the pouch. You're really not supposed to do that. Not supposed to preload the hand with food and have it in the pouch. If you want to have food in the hand, you got food right here. You're like, oh, hell yeah. And you give the dog food. Good. Okay. So good job, Emmy M. Sit. Good. I'm very proud of her. We'll see you then, folks. Take care.